Well, when I was about 8 years old, my parents bought us a piano. I lived in a real small town in Arizona, and they thought it would be good for us to learn to play an instrument. My brother and sister and I all started piano lessons. I was 8, they were a little older. It turned out that because I had a pretty good ear, I got very impatient with piano lessons because I could figure things out pretty quickly. So I kind of gave up on learning the piano in a serious sense. I ended up learning to play it by ear. Then when I was 14, we moved away and my mom bought me a little Gibson guitar, acoustic guitar, and that I absolutely fell in love with. So I would say I really started playing when I was about 14. My first song was Little Red Riding Hood by Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs. Well, this is a pretty short list because I really play 2 instruments. I play the keyboard, and I play that by ear. I don't read music. I'm pretty good at figuring things out, getting them kind of note for note. I'm not a fancy player by any means. My main instrument is the acoustic guitar. That's what I'm really best at. Fingerpicking, Paul Simon style. So those are my 2 instruments. I can play kazoo a little bit. Well, I really have to list 2. One of them was when I was in college. My roommate and I had steady gigs at some restaurants, bar restaurants around town. We played as a duo, had a lot of fun. One night we decided to do something kind of foolish, which was to smoke a little pot before we played. Now, as some of you might know, some of you might not, sometimes you can get a little paranoid when you smoke. So we went down there and we were so darn afraid that the owner was going to figure out what we had done that we just panicked and just totally went crazy the whole night and didn't have any fun. I suspect nobody knew, but we sure knew, and we never did it again. The other worst gig was I was playing at a bar in Northern Virginia called the Birchmere. Actually, it wasn't a bar, it was a big music venue. I was in a little folk trio called the Music Americana 3, and this was a pretty big deal. I was friends with a big radio guy in Washington, D.C., and he had set this up, and we were just one of several acts. We went up there to play Poor Wayfaring Stranger, and we were opening with an a cappella verse. One of us, and to this day I don't know who, started on the wrong note, and it was an absolute train wreck for about 15 seconds. I've never been so embarrassed or mortified in my life as that day. So that ranks up there with one of the worst gigs probably in history. This is kind of a hard one to answer, and so I'm going to answer it this way. Every gig that I play, if I'm playing it with guys that I really care about and like, is always the best gig I've ever played. Now, I'm not exactly sure what you mean by this question. I'm guessing what musician did I have a crush on, and I would have to say probably Joni Mitchell. I just thought she was so intriguing looking, and her music was just so moving and ethereal. So whenever I saw her or heard her, I just swooned. This is actually kind of an easy question. I've been playing Paul Simon music ever since I was in junior high school. Learned from his fingerpicking style, Scarborough Fair, The Boxer. I really just admire his accuracy, his sense of melody, songwriting, of course. To this day, I absolutely love performing Paul Simon songs. I would have to say there are several Broadway musical soundtracks that I absolutely love. I'll give you 3 examples. One is Sound of Music. I think that's great. Number 2, Jesus Christ Superstar. Just amazing music and lyrics in that, and it's taught me all I ever knew about religion and the Bible. Number 3 is Hamilton. I went and saw that in Las Vegas a couple years ago, and the imagination and the writing in that is amazing. Now this is going to be a little contradictory because in my last answer I said that I liked Hamilton, but as a genre I really don't like rap and or hip-hop. Now the reason I don't like most of it is because the lyrics are just not very positive, and it just bothers me. Having said that, there's a lot of great creativity and imagination, great poetry and writing in a lot of rap and hip-hop, so I give them credit for that. Just not something that I love. Let me think. I would say good finger picker. Now, finger picker might be one word, I'm not sure. So let me just add, just in case Mike gets picky about this, really good finger picker. Not really, I'm just okay. How about Wheels of Fire, Cream, one of my favorites, my first album I ever bought, loved it. After Bathing at Baxter's, a little bit of an unknown album by Jefferson Airplane, has some great rock and roll and made me really get into Jefferson Airplane. Parsley, Sage, Rosemary and Thyme, Simon and Garfunkel, had some of their classic hits. Again, taught me a lot of my guitar work from that album. Don Quixote album by Gordon Lightfoot, another great songwriter that I really like, and that album, I learned a lot of songs off that album. And since I'm going to be there for 6 months, I'm going to give you 6 albums just so I have one per month, and that would be Joni Mitchell Hygira album, which is just such a great combination of jazz, pop, great lyrics. So Mike, let me take 6 instead of just 5, okay? Well, my advice, if you want to get into music, is you should do it. You don't have to be talented, you just have to enjoy it. I took up the guitar when I was 14, and it didn't take me long to get to the point where I could play well enough to be around a group of people and have fun. That's, to me, what music is about. You don't, like I say, you don't have to be real good. My other piece of advice is always have a backup plan. Well, like I heard my friend Randy say in one of these 10-question deals, he doesn't really sing in the shower. I don't really sing in the shower all that much either. But if I'm just looking for a song that just lets me belt something out and I like to have fun with, without any instruments, it's the song All My Lovin' by the Beatles. That's just great range for my voice and just such a fun song. So that would be it.